You are tuned in to Making a Difference with Melissa Billy Clark. This show shares compelling stories and experiences of well-known faces and everyday people who change the world in big and small ways. Get ready to open your mind and your heart with Melissa Billy Clark.
Thank you for joining us on Making a Difference. I'm your host, Melissa Billy Clark. Dating can be a mess. It can either break your heart without even having a relationship, or you can make a short film web series, Pandemic Pillow Talk. That's exactly what my two guests did. Take a look.
Online dating is pretty whacked, especially during COVID.
Allow me to break it down for you, my friend.
I get matched up with my suitors and they win me over with their chivalry.
All right, well, I'm convinced. You can come move in.
Bonjour, Mackenzie.
I forgot to mention he's French. Ooh la la.
You seem normal.
You too, what's wrong with you?
You'll just have to wait and see, won't you?
I didn't mean it badly. I just meant that you seem like someone I'd really love to sleep with.
You better watch it. You know what? Just fuck it. I'm just gonna be honest, okay?
I'm just gonna come out and say it.
Oh, this is not exactly what I'm looking for at all.
You know, that clock, it's ticking.
Thanks for the block, Mom.
Do you want me to show you my gun?
Dad, stop! Not good.
I read an article recently that said COVID isolation and depression has led to an exponential increase in online dating and unprecedented results.
I am determined to meet the man of my dreams on here that checks all of the boxes.
2,220 and a quarter men in the U.S. that fit my qualifications for marriage.
We are here with filmmakers Summer Moore and Starr Session. You guys, I love your names, first of all. It's so much fun to say.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies, so much for joining us. You're in LA. I'm in New York. It's like the two worst cities to date. Summer and I, we're both single women. Starr is a married woman, and she actually met her hubby online, and we're going to be discussing that. So during COVID, you came up with this series, and it was a struggle before COVID to date. So what were your thoughts when you were writing this? I'll start with you, Summer.
My thoughts for writing it are that online dating is rough, and I've been through, I think dating in general is rough, but now as we have furthered in with the virtual world, like people are hiding behind their phones and just treat people like commodities and move on to the next, oh, I don't like the way you said hi, I'm going to move on to the next. So I felt like it was very important that we do a series that's about what people are encountering with online dating, and then during the pandemic, because it shifted during the pandemic to now it was online dating because you couldn't go meet in person. So I thought it would be fun. And then also there's a mother that's in there. My mom is inspired by actual incidences of my mother. And so I wanted to put that in there because my mom's quite a character. So
yeah, that's amazing because both your parents are played by Eric Roberts and his wife. What's his wife's name? I'm sorry.
Eliza.
So you have the Roberts parents, and you wrote exactly what your parents, what your mom would do for you. And, parents, they're so old fashioned that they think that we can just go to dances and, oh, why don't you go to a dance? Okay, yeah, let's wear our mask and go to a dance and meet people. Starr, how did you feel when you were producing this? You are a married woman. So what did you have to bring into the game of this web series?
Well, with this web series, it's really interesting because it was during December 2020 when we weren't leaving the house. We were staying in our pods, and we weren't really socializing in person. It was all through Zoom. So it was really interesting because everyone is in their pod, and I'm with my husband who's in my pod with me, who I had met online, and we've been together for 9 years. So magical things can happen with online dating. But it was really interesting to see all the stories that actually I could relate to within the script that happened to me. You know, you meet a guy that you're really interested in, and then you get on that date and he's not what he said he was, or he doesn't look like his picture, or you know, the many things that we all go through when we do a little bit of online dating. There's something that everyone can relate to in these different episodes. So it was just interesting to like totally see that, watch that, and bring it from the script and put it onto the screen.
These episodes are really funny. I mean, you talk about hand sanitizer, then you know, Summer, she's the one who's in front of all these men, and you got the firefighter, you got the guy from France. The guy says he just wants to sleep with you. I mean, this is what we go through, and this is not lying. I mean, these are true facts coming from a girl who has done online dating. So what's your thoughts on that? And, you know, how hopeful can we be as single women and get through this online dating? Summer, what do you think?
Oh, well, you know, it's like winning the lottery. Like, I think of Starr, and she was the very few of my friends that have been successful at online dating. And we think, oh, if I just keep buying the ticket, I'll win. And then you look at how many people don't win the lottery. And I don't know if I know it's hard for men too, but how many times we go, oh, I'm gonna delete the app, and I can't do this any longer, and then you re-download the app and try it again for a little bit, and I think it's very hard for people in general that still have the mindset of, I'm just not there to play the field. Like, I want to actually find someone serious, because you're dealing with a lot of the people that are just playing the field. And so like it's really hard for me. I don't have a thick skin, and I questioned why I wrote hi back. Should I said hello? Should I have said hey? Like, what did I do wrong? And then I didn't hear anything from them, you know? So you start to question yourself. And I think for me, like, I've stepped back from that because it's just so hard. I don't do well with online dating. So I'd rather organically meet somebody, which is a lot harder than online dating, but then at least I know I have the chemistry already. I mean, how many of those do you meet online and you think, oh, they're great, and then you meet them in person and go, well, I can see how they resemble their picture, but something's off, and like, what's different? And like, so I don't know. I don't want to be pessimistic, but it's my mom keeps telling me like, well, just try online dating again. And it's like, then I tell her the stories of my friends online dating and their nightmares. And it's like, Mom, that's what I'd be going through. So I just would rather not, so that I'm not stressed out, you know.
it could be very stressful. So I came up with some things that I personally go through that I'd like to share with you both and our audience. So I'm in New York, right? And I live in Brooklyn. So the man won't date me because I do not live in his zip code or a 5-mile radius. They think I'm on a website to get more viewers for my show. I have dogs. They don't want any part of the dogs. And most of them just want to get laid. Pardon my French. I mean, this show is you know, PG rated. I mean, you both are very successful women in the film industry. So Starr, let's start with you and tell us, like, how before you met your husband, you know, were you in the industry? Were you in the entertainment industry?
Oh yeah. I mean, my husband also is in the industry, so we speak the same lingo when it comes to like our work life and our balanced life. And it was just literally stars aligned because we were both looking for the same thing. We were looking for that next chapter. We were looking for that next person. We weren't just on the app for the hookup, right? So we really did align, and then family was important to the both of us, and there was just a lot of things that like worked out for us. But before that, just like Summer said, I deleted the app. I got back on the app. I tried a different app. You know, you go through all these different things. I think what changed for me was, you know, being truthful on my profile of what I wanted. You know, I was looking for someone to do stuff with versus someone to take me out to dinner, because I can pay for my own food. You know, I'm a successful woman. I don't need someone to take me out for lobster. Like, I don't need that. I just want someone to go on a hike with. Like, I want someone who wants to do the fun things in life. And so that's what our first date consisted of, which was a hike. And so, you know, we laugh at each other now because we've gotten older. We're like, can you keep up? But it's all about being truthful about what you want and what you're looking for. And hopefully it works. That's all.
Hopefully it works. Yeah. Summer, when you're on these apps, what happens when you meet a guy for the first time? Do you pay on the first date? How does that work out?
I have such a hard time with it because I'm always been the person I feel uncomfortable getting paid for. But it is a thing where I have really tried to force myself to accept and make a man have to do some work, because I'm always the one that, let me schedule it and let me pay for it. And because I just don't like feeling like I owe the guy. So I mean, normally it doesn't seem like any of these meetups are usually like coffee. So it's not like anybody's paying a lot of money for that. It's like $3 or $5 or whatever kind of thing. So it kind of depends, but yes, I am like you, where I have always been the payer, and I have learned I got to stop doing that, because I do go into the relationship of, I'm going to be the one that's going to take precedent here, and I'm paying for things. And I don't want that. I want it to be like, we should be equal, or if he's making more money, then he needs to be paying,
Yeah, it's so true. It's so true. So now with this web series, it's called Pandemic Pillow Talk. You talk about sex in there, and some men just say out front, "Oh, you look like a girl that I'd like to bleep." How terrible is that for when you're trying to find love? It's so sad for women to hear that. And especially that's everything that's going on in the world. So what do we say to that man? I feel like saying, you know what, buddy, you don't say that to women. I'm from New York and I'm Brooklyn. So I say, you don't say that to a woman. Who do you think you are? You know? And it's so frustrating. So what would you, Starr, if you were single, what would you tell a man if he were to say, oh, you look like a girl that I would like to?
Well, it's interesting because this series is a comedy. So although there's like all these like crazy things, Mackenzie, her character, is a strong woman. She has a great career, and it's that we bring in the comedy of when those moments happen, and it's like, we can just hang up because this is all through Zoom. You don't have to sit through the date. And so it's really cool to watch these episodes, all the snafus that happen during the pandemic when people were on Zoom and someone walked behind you in their underwear. We have all those moments where you can't hang up the line. We have all these little moments that truly happened in life during the pandemic that were funny.
That's not hand sanitizer, is it? No, move over, please.
All right. You know what? Just fuck it. I'm just gonna be honest, okay?
Oh Lord, here we go.
I love sex. I'm not gonna lie. All right, it's just what I do. A couple times a day, minimum.
Wow.
This pandemic is making me stir crazy. I miss women. I love women. I can't find one that can keep up with my sex drive yet. Hey, interesting fact. Firefighters get more tail than any other occupation. Did you know that?
No.
You can Google it. Look, I'm not as charming online as I am in person. This pandemic is killing my sex life.
Oh, this is not exactly what I'm looking for at all.
We love Mackenzie in this one.
I was going to say that we have in there, we have that where girls write on their profile, not into hookups. And Mackenzie specifically puts that. And then I have a statistic in there of how many men want hookups and how many women don't. And the women are like 30% of online dating users or something super low. And the men still think, I've had discussions with men about this, like, it says not into hookups. Why do you still think we want to hook up? And they're like, oh, you guys just put that because you're supposed to, but you do, you're fine with hooking up. And it's just, so that's all in there. It's like, I'm sure people have encountered that. That's like, it's clear as day. I put that for a reason. It's not because I'm supposed to, but I really want to.
Did you guys do a lot of research when it came to the web series? What kind of research did you go through?
Summer, you answer that one.
Yeah, I looked at, because I wasn't doing actual online dating at that point, but I was looking at what people were experiencing through the pandemic with online dating. And a lot of what I incorporated into there was the Zoom snafus that she's talking about, the background disappearing and things like that. But I was researching a lot of people. That was when they were having like trolls that would come in on your link and they're not supposed to be there, before Zoom started the waiting room and all that kind of stuff. So it was a lot of those experiences that were actually firsthand ones. And then the other ones were trying to research what other people were encountering with online dating, but then taking most of those guys in there have characteristics of a guy that I have dated in the past. And like I said, the mom is based on experiences with my mom. So most of those guys I did, because I didn't have firsthand online dating experiences during the pandemic. I took dudes' characteristics of, who I've dated and went, oh, I'm going to make this character out of this guy. And so.
What do you think the pandemic did to online dating?
I honestly think I like personally the idea of being able to meet on Zoom first, because you can already get does he really look like his picture? Is he awkward when he talks? Do I hit it off with them? Do we have good banter? Rather than me having to drive across town to go meet this guy and he's a dud and now I have to go back. So I personally feel like that helped, and that you could do an online date and say, I'd like to meet on Zoom first. And it's acceptable now versus like, now you're hiding behind the computer screen for a reason. What are you really hiding? So I feel like that personally. And I also feel like it made a lot of people were having really good successes during the pandemic, during online dating. Yeah. And women were, I remember a friend of mine, she's married, and she said, I really feel sorry for you single people that are having to quarantine alone. Like, you guys should be able to quarantine with somebody, because it was very, we were very isolated.
Very isolated.
So I think that helped, so that people wanted to have a connection and maybe gave each other shots more than they do now, because people are out and about. So that's my
Summer, what do you think? Starr, what do you think?
Well, it's in one of our episodes. It's also interesting that, you hit it off with someone and you can hang up on them if you're over it, or you are on there for 3 to 4 hours because, hey, it's a pandemic. Where do you have to be, right? And then in one of the episodes, Mackenzie asked, like, well, let's see your apartment. And then you can really, like, dive into, it's all about, if a guy is dirty, it's like, do you really want to be with that for the rest of your life? So you can really go through in real time and, like, see what their apartment has and doesn't have,
Yeah.
Are there sheets on the bed? Like random different things, like what's going on? Like, are they sleeping on an air bed? When we were filming this, I was living in Budapest, Hungary. So I was working overnight while LA was waking up. And, I was up until 5 a.m. every night filming this for 3 weeks while we did it, which was pretty cool. So it was fun to be like on Zoom and be like action and quiet on set, but like through Zoom, and everyone was in Hollywood. It was a challenge because we had to get equipment to all of our actors, which was interesting because we needed to sanitize everything. We dropped everything off at the front door to people, and not usually when actors are on set, they just show up to set, get their makeup done, get their hair done, and then they're on set. No, our actors were so talented that our audio department through Zoom was teaching them how to mic themselves. Our camera department was helping them set up the cameras. There was a lot of technical stuff that our actors had to do that was really interesting. So it was cool that we were all in different parts of the world making this happen. And we all did it remotely. And that's the beauty of, still being in Hollywood, still working, bringing work and jobs to people during the pandemic, during a time when people weren't working, especially indie films. So we're very proud of that. And we're very proud that, it was all women behind the scenes, making it happen, women editors, women directors, women producers, women writer. Like, it was women running the show, and it's a real cool project to be a part of. So as a producer, this is one for the books for sure.
Yeah, it was very difficult to get jobs during the pandemic. We interviewed a couple of people, Bollywood. We had people on here, and they're like, "It's so hard to get jobs, and we can't work and do what we wanted to do." So, Summer, how did you feel being Mackenzie and working and producing and writing during a really bad pandemic? I mean, you guys were like in the midst of it.
Yeah. It was exciting because I had several friends reach out to me like, Summer, can you come up with some concept that we could do during the pandemic that we could all film? And I was like, I don't know what to write. And then one of our team members said, well, why don't you do something about dating? And I was like, ooh, it's the Pandemic Pillow Talk is actually a spin-off from a short film I did called As in Kevin. So Mackenzie it was an online dating out in the real world for that. And so I took the character and now put her in the pandemic online dating. And a lot of the projects that I do, I end up like acting, writing, and producing in. So I'm used to juggling hats. But on this was like a whole nother level because now I'm doing my lights, I'm doing my wardrobe, I'm doing my hair, makeup, I'm doing everything. I mean, the microphone, however the women or men do that, where they get it in the right position so you're not like making noise. It's unbelievable to me. I mean, they were trying to help me with that, and it's just a skill. So I would say it was the most challenging production that I have ever done because I had to do so many different things.
Yeah. Thank you so much. And Starr, what do you have to say to women who are having a difficult time finding a partner? What advice would you give to them to give them some hope?
Well, don't quit. No, you have to be true to yourself, right? So it's all about dating all the toads to get to the prince. So you've got to see what you want out of, sometimes people are in relationships for a long time and you take things that you wouldn't really take. And then you realize you're a person that you're not even like, who is this person? So it's all about figuring out who you are, your morals, your values, and sticking true to that. And as I said before, like being truthful on those profiles for dating, now that there's vaccines, like get out there, try to really meet people in person, and get past the coffee dates and really do something that you really want to do. Because in the end, like spending a half a day going go-kart racing can't be that bad with the worst person. So you'll at least get to have a good time out of it. So
thank you. Summer, thank you, Starr. And Summer, what's your advice as a single woman?
I mean, and you, Melissa, you can relate. Like, It's easy. I'm sorry, love you to death, but for you to say, don't give up. And it's just like, man, it's the emotional stress that I go through with dating. And is that really better than being alone? And I feel like it is very important for people to learn to be secure, to be alone, because most people just feel like they have to have somebody, and it's very hard to be alone. So I feel like really for you to be the best person, you should be strong enough to be able to be alone and not have to have somebody. And then you can be the full you and bring the best you to the table for that relationship.
Ladies, don't give up. Head over to the pandemicpillowtalk.com and you can go ahead and see these shows, what these lovely ladies did, and they gave work to people during the pandemic, and we can't thank you enough because they needed to shine somehow and they were very isolated. So we thank you for contributing that and making a difference in this world with these beautiful segments, and we hope to see more. You think we'll see more?
That's what we'd love. We'd love to do more. We'd really love to do a limited half-hour series so that it's picked up by a streamer or a studio, and then Mackenzie can be out in the world on real dates. And I've already got a pilot written and have another really good, all based on real date stuff. So, so we hope it's just a matter of getting enough exposure to Pandemic Pillow Talk so that the streamers and the studios go, hey, this is something we want to do.
Yeah, so head over to our website, Pandemic Pillow Talk. Watch our episodes. They're really, really short episodes. You're not going to be having to binge all weekend long. You can binge in an hour because they're 5 to 8 minutes long. And give us those views, give us those likes, give us those comments, because it would be great to do a spinoff and kind of keep going and working with other great women, we have a great team. So just head over to the website, check it out, scroll around, click around. It all helps.
Thank you so much, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This episode is sponsored by Preferred Health Magazine.
Hi, I'm Angelina Cappiello, publisher and editor-in-chief of Preferred Health Magazine. PHM hosts interviews with today's top physicians, experts in the healthcare industry, and some of today's most beloved celebrities. So head on over to www.preferredhealthmagazine.com today to receive your free digital subscription. And be sure to catch me on our new podcast, Talking Points with Preferred Health Magazine, streaming now on Spotify and YouTube.
Thank you for tuning in to Making a Difference. I'm your host, Melissa Billy Clark. If you'd like to learn more about our show, please visit our website at melissabillyclarkshow.com. If you'd like to sponsor or be a guest, email melissa@melissaclarkshow.com. Let's make a difference together.